Hello YouTube watch lovers, and here is the big showdown, the big comparison of the polar watches. For a year with me now, the Omega Seamaster 300 meters polar dial. Like this watch, but is it worth changing for a higher grade, for a GMT Rolex Explorer II? The watch is with me because I paid a significant deposit for this watch. Well, I made the decision that I will stay with the Omega, so I will have to be sending this watch back to its original owner, and I hope to get most of my deposit back. Well, I will be losing some money just for getting the experience of this watch on my wrist. So first of all, I want to reference a video that really fantastic exploration of a cave with the Explorer II by Adrian Barker on his channel. Really, Adrian introduced me to both watches actually, and I know that he makes a different choice, that he wants to keep the Explorer. But this video will be different because I'll be using the lug-to-lug distance of a watch as a deciding matter between these two. Really, it was important for me to get hold of this watch and have it for the last 6 days, and now I'm making a review, having some experience with the actual watch. I'm not just telling you that in general there is a 42mm Rolex, and well, we'll go through the price, we'll go through the gray market value for this watch. I will show you, well, probably why I'm not enjoying it as much as I was expecting I would like it. And today I just want to start with, I'm still wearing my Tudor Ranger, and it's a very good experience. I really like the 39mm keys of the watch. I really like the 48mm lug-to-lug distance. Really fits my 18cm circumference wrist very well. But probably today I should be talking less about the whole circumference of my wrist, because a wrist can be just plainer and have this greater surface area, and because this watch works out as a little bit too big for me. But just wait, we'll come down to the actual on the wrist shots, and we'll come down to my choice of the Rolex 2. Probably a different model would be more appropriate to me, but this will come later in my video. So okay, let us take off the Tudor. I like the Explorer. I think it fits me, and it's a brilliant watch, has great movement. So all of them are set up to the same time, so you won't be too annoyed seeing a different time setting on all the watches. Really fits me well. Really liking this watch, liking it as an everyday wearer, and well, just my best tool watch. And feels really good, really solid, well built. So well done Tudor. Okay, so let us move on to the Rolex, the 226570. This is the latest Rolex that retails at the Rolex AD price, the authorized distributor, £7,550. So really a no-brainer. If you can get this watch for an AD price, just go for it. Just go for it, because the gray market price of this watch, well, I took like on average about £11,750. So you're immediately coming coming out of the Rolex AD with a good profit. I need to be very careful with the reflections from this watch. Really need to position it nice towards the camera, because Rolexes don't have the on the crystal, the outside of the crystal AR coating. There's only AR coating inside the crystal, so there are a lot of reflections from this polar white dial. Here everything is so clear, and even the single glance on this polar dial, because the black markers or the black surrounding of the hour markers and the black on the hands makes this watch perfectly legible in any type of lighting. Really enjoyed the legibility of the watch while wearing it on my wrist. So it is a 42 millimeter case diameter of the Rolex. It is 13 millimeters case thickness, so it's slightly thinner than the Omega, which I'll be showing to you just in a moment. And massive lug-to-lug distance of 51 millimeters. So lug-to-lug is 51 millimeters. And you should notice that the solid end links of the Oyster bracelet, they kind of even expand on these 51 and make it about 53 millimeters on the wrist. So I have to say that I felt it immediately when I sized the bracelet for my 18 centimeter circumference wrist, that this watch felt just too wide for me. Just this Super Oyster case is a little bit too big in this lug-to-lug distance. So I will show it to you. It is just too big for my wrist, unfortunately, because the watch is fantastic. So let us go on with the review. So 51 millimeter lug-to-lug. Really don't like this. Really too big for me. The movement is the same as in the most new GMT Master 2, Rolex GMT Master 2. So this is the 5285. This is a true GMT, so it's a jumping hour head. Perfect timekeeping. Really can check my and see the problems with my iPhone, if my iPhone keeps the time correctly, comparing it to the Rolex. Just perfect timekeeping, perfect. This movement has an increased 70-hour power reserve over the older 3186 movement that was used in the previous model of the GMT Masters and the Explorer. Well, now the wearing experience, it is good apart from that great lug-to-lug distance. It is good because this is probably the best machined Oyster bracelet. You can see that there is absolutely no movement, there is no rattling, there is no reaction. It all feels like one solidly made bracelet, and there are absolutely no scratching, no disturbing bits here. Everything is just smooth. The only thing that I kind of dislike about this is the absence of the glide lock, which is reserved for the divers, for the submariner and the sea dwellers in the Rolex collection. So there is There is an easy link which easily gives you 5mm bracelet extension on a hot day. Really easy to operate, really easy to set up. I'm gonna push it back. Very easy to extend your bracelet by 5mm, and it is very convenient. But the absence of the glide lock really is not the best feature of this watch, but everything is rock solid. Everything acts and operates really well on a Rolex bracelet. So extremely well built, extremely well constructed, well executed watch. Just my gripe with the lug-to-lug distance really makes it feel a little bit too big for me. And unfortunately, when we are talking about paying £11,000 for a watch, because I cannot get an offer from my authorized distributor, I'm not buying enough watches from them. Really need to think whether I should get an Omega Seamaster or Speedmaster from them now, but the watch feels a little bit too big for me. Unfortunate, because I'm liking the watch. I'm liking the timekeeping of this movement. I'm liking the solidity of this Rolex bracelet, and everything about the watch is just perfect. I like this dial. I like this original polar design. I like the bezel. I like the numbering. I like the fonts. I like everything about the watch, but its fit on my wrist is a little bit ungainly. It's a little bit too big for me. Okay, I'll be now turning around and telling about my experience for the last year with the Omega. Yes, we're gonna make a short break. Okay, so we're on to the Omega now. I really like this watch. Had it for a year and just want to keep it, want to have it, because I really want an example of this coaxial master chronometer 8800 movement in my collection. Really like this movement, really like this watch, really like the timekeeping, but the most important measurement probably for today's video is the fact that Omega keep the lug-to-lug distance of this watch. They keep it to 40, so 42mm is the case size, 47mm. So this is significantly smaller than the Rolex, significantly better fitting on my wrist. So you can see that this fits perfectly well. I actually managed to kind of rotate and fit the Omega inside of the Rolex bracelet. So I'll take the Explorer. I need to undo this clasp. Okay, and the Omega will nicely fit inside of the Explorer bracelet. So Omega will fit inside, and you can see that the lug-to-lug distance on the Seamaster is significantly smaller than the 51mm, and even wider end link to end link of the solid end links of the Rolex. Really prefer the fit of the Omega on my wrist, and wow, that just does it. Like the watch, like the movement, like the way it fits on my wrist. Although this is the non-tapering 20mm Omega bracelet, it is still perfectly machined. There are absolutely no scratches. They're absolutely perfectly produced Swiss made bracelet. And I like the black bezel. I think this is another advantage of the Omega watch. Of course, this is not a GMT. This is not a GMT movement as in the Rolex. It doesn't have the second time zone function, but perfect timekeeper and a very good watch. A perfect polar dial, the one that I'm gonna keep in my collection. So now returning to the Rolex and the comment that I meant that maybe I've gone for the wrong model. So I really want to compare the Rolex, the 22-570 to the previous, to the 40mm watch. So I'll give you a good review of the 22-570. I just couldn't afford to borrow two Rolexes at the same time for the video. It will be probably the thing for me to explore further, to really make the comparison to the 165-570. I will use the photographs to show you that, okay, this is a 40mm pre-maxi case design Explorer II. Really finer, nicer design, doesn't have that orange GMT hand, but really nicer, finer design watch. And the most important thing, it has a more manageable case. It has a more manageable lug-to-lug distance. You can see the 51mm of the 2-1-6-570. And this compares really well. The vintage Rolex is so much better and will be so much better fit on my wrist. So I need to finish this with the fact that Rolex is a superior watch, is a great watch. Probably if you get an offer for an AD price, it's definitely a no-brainer. It's definitely worth going for. And you know that in the worst case, you can flip the watch. Well, probably will spoil your relationship with your Rolex AD, but you wouldn't lose money on buying this watch for an AD price. You will only lose money if you overpay for it. And currently, I think the prices for Rolexes are slowly coming down to something more realistic, to something more affordable. So I really wouldn't recommend paying the gray market price for the Rolex. And myself, I'm gonna stay with the Omega. Love my Seamaster diver, professional diver, 300 meters. Really wouldn't swap it for anything else at the moment, the way things stand. But really want to compare this to the now vintage Explorer polar dial, the 16570, as I've shown to you on these images just previously. Okay, guys, so I've selected my polar watch. Write in the comments, do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I should have gone for the Rolex? Well, I didn't receive an offer. I would have had to pay this £11,500 price, but I'd rather get that money back and look for another watch, maybe another Omega, maybe go to that original idea of getting a Speedmaster Professional, also master coaxial movement. So please comment, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and say that I'm wrong with my choice of the watch. I'm really making a different choice to the one that Adrian Barker. He just said that Omega will go pretty soon and he will stay with the Rolex. But I think that Rolex needs a flatter, wider wrist than my 18 centimeter circumference wrist, and the whole circumference obviously includes the thickness of the wrist, and probably you can get a flatter, wider wrist that will go very well with the Rolex. And it is just my personal choice based on my own personal wearing experience. So it is important to wear a watch for a couple of days to find out if you can get used to its bigger case, well, different measurements, and still want to finish with a shot of the Ranger. Really fits me so well. I just couldn't think of a better watch to wear every day than my Tudor Ranger. So another small ad for the Ranger in my hands. Okay guys, so like and subscribe, participate in the discussion, and I'll see you in the next video.